Okay, I'm back. For some reason, I wasn't able to add Khushi earlier. Let me try again. I'm still not able to add her. Hello, thank you for coming back. I think we're having a little technical issue. For some reason, I'm not able to add Khushi. Please stick around. We're going to have a lovely, lovely session on mindfulness. So don't go away. Okay, she's got my invite. So meanwhile, I will quickly introduce everybody who's new here on our page. Awaken Life is a community where we bring experts from various pillars of conscious living to seekers, who are looking for a way to living consciously and with more awareness. So our today's guest is Khushi Jani. She's a mindfulness coach. I will introduce her as soon as she gets on board. Um, as soon as she gets on board. Oh, she's unable to join. 1 second. We live in exciting times with Instagram, don't we? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Grace, Monica, Namrita. So sure his Musumo. My mom, Mama. It's so good to see you guys. My mom is really sweet. She just joins all the lives that we do every time. Khushi, I have sent you the invite again. Hi, Pallavi. Some of my favorite people are joining. Joined. Okay, she joined, but she's not got mine. Yes, yes. Accept life. Let's hope this works. Okay, I have no idea what is happening. Thank you for being patient, guys. Just hang in. We're giving it another try. Oh, thank God. She's joined, but I can't see her. Is she? Hello, everybody, for joining in. Hello, hello. Khushi, I still cannot see you for some reason. Okay, let's try once more. Wow, all you lovely people, please hang in there. Khushi will join us shortly. Okay, we're just struggling for for uh, for getting her to go live. There is some issue which I can't figure, but hang in there. Thank you. I'm fine. Hello. Hi. Yes, Ashish, we'd love you to connect with us. You can always send us a message and we will get back to you. Hello, Anish. Khushi, are you around? Khushi, I sent you the invite again. Okay, guys, hang in there. I'm going to call Khushi and get back. I'm coming right now. Okay, don't go anywhere. Okay, Khushi is unable to join for some reason. Khushi, would you like to please call me? Right, I think Khushi is having some technical issues. Uh, what do you guys want to talk about? Type in. Meanwhile. Okay, she's unable to join again. Okay, she sent a request. Hold on, hold on. Probably she'll join from another account. So let's be patient. Let's talk about something. Do you guys know about mindfulness? What do you know about? One sentence about mindfulness. Quick. Everybody. What does mindfulness mean to you? I would like to join. Ashish. Ashish, what is this about? Okay. Ashish, sorry, I can't accept your request right now because Khushi will be sending us an invite. And if I accept your call, then I might just miss hers. So I hope that we will be able to connect again after the live if required. Being aware about what's happening around. Great. Yes, BBJ consultants. That's true. That's right. Butterfly Love 336. Awareness. Absolutely. What else? What else? Awareness. Yes, Pallavi. And what is the, when do you feel that you are not mindful? What makes you lose that control over being mindful? Does that happen to you? It happens to me a lot. If I'm not really conscious about it, then we all waver, right? We all wander away. So does that happen to you? And when does that happen to you? So I will like to, in the meantime, share a little experience that I've had with mindfulness. So in the year 2020, I, for about 2-3 months, I had very high anxiety and I couldn't really figure what was the reason. It happens many times, yes, Pallavi. And I couldn't really figure the reason. Of course, it was stemming from some sort of fear, I guess. But over a period of time, apart from a lot of other things that I did, I think being constantly mindful, and trying to stay in the here and now, in the present, uh, helped me a lot, because we constantly oscillate between past and future. It gets very difficult to stay in the here and now. And I think when I started practicing that, uh, okay, Khushi's here. When I started practicing that, that helped me to, reduce my anxiety to a large extent. Oh my God, thank God. Khushi, so lovely to finally see you. Everybody's been so patient, waiting for you patiently.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I don't know what was happening. It just kept on crashing for me. The app just went off every time I tried to
That's
join.
all right. I'm just glad you're here now.
Me too. Big time.
Welcome to Awakened Life, Khushi. So while you couldn't join, we all started our own mindfulness discussion, and everybody was giving in there. And I was sharing a little bit about a little bit of my anxiety episode that I had and how mindfulness helped me. But let me not jump to anything. I'm going to quickly introduce Khushi. Khushi is a founder of Atman Yoga. She's a mindfulness coach. She's got experience of more than 8 years in the field of counseling. She uses interventions from positive psychology to help people break free from mental clutter and release the victim mindset. And today we are going to be talking about mindfulness, how one can be more mindful, stay in the state of a mindful, no, stay in the, how can one move from a mindful to a mindful state, right? Yeah, so let's quickly dive in. So tell us, what is mindfulness? So we all have our own definitions of what mindfulness is. Let's hear from the expert.
Yes, we all have our definition, and I've seen everybody has this one idea that it's about being in the present moment. And I'll tell you one thing: to say so, it's easier. To do so, to do so is a complete different practice. So instead of being, when we keep on saying being, it's kind of becomes a pressurizing aspect for us. So how would I put, and this is what I always say in all of my classes, is mindfulness is a practice. So you know what, like, just like every another practice, it's a constant. It's practice is not something you stop, because the moment you stop, of course, you'll start losing the touch over it, just like any other thing. It could be driving a car, it could be playing a game. You stop practicing, you start losing the touch over it. So that's why I will call it a practice that is constantly there. You keep on practicing constantly in the practice of it. The results, they are anyhow going to be there. From our end, all we need to do is be in that practice. And when we do that, what happens is we are not waiting for an end result. So because present moment has no end result. Present moment is about being right here, right now. It's never ending. Then how can your practice end? How can there be an end result to your practice also, right? So when you say this, that mindfulness is a practice, what it does is it makes a part of your everyday and every moment awareness. Now, that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is, I can say, is mindfulness is a state of being. Right? Again, that state of being is something that can be momentary. Now, to be constantly in that state of being is, of course, a difficult aspect, but there comes in the practice aspect, that you keep on practicing, and the more you practice, you're more there in this present moment. Now, the question then arises is, I am in this moment right now. I'm sitting here. This means I am here. Where am I else? Right? The point is, we are where we are physically, but are we there mentally? And that's the practice. That constant practice is reminding ourselves and bringing ourselves mentally into the present moment. And many times, we don't like the present moment that we are in. Like if I'm going through, when you're talking about anxiety, I've been struggling with it. I had my struggles with anxiety for years, not even knowing what was happening. I would just think that, this fear that I feel is a sign from God that something wrong is going to happen. That's how I saw it, because I had no better idea than this. But over the time, when I understood what anxiety is, when I did all my studying, whatever, I understood anxiety better. And now, because of that, I understand even mindfulness better. That, when am I anxious? When I'm thinking something may go wrong, which means sometimes in future. But what about right now? How is this right now? What's happening right now? And when I ask myself this question, what's happening right now? I am in that present moment. So if your answer is another question, what's happening in this moment? That's mindfulness.
That's true. So, like I was just mentioning that when I was struggling with anxiety, apart from the other things that I was doing, I think I had to just start practicing being present in the moment. And that really helped me. Of course, it was a very difficult task because you're constantly oscillating between past and future, right? If I'm talking to you now, I may be thinking about, oh, after this I need to do this and that. And oh my God, I did this earlier and this and that. And so everything is still going around, even when I'm talking to you. So it is so difficult to stay just here.
Absolutely.
Right, and something like this can only be developed through practice, constantly bringing yourself back, putting yourself back, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so where did this philosophy come from about, aren't we naturally supposed to be mindful about sorry, did you hear that?
Yeah, all clear for mine.
Okay, so I'm just saying, aren't humans naturally shouldn't be mindful? Like, why do we have to develop, and where did this philosophy come from, and why did we have to develop it and practice it?
So the thing being one, of course, when I talk about the philosophy is not new, or maybe the science behind it is, of course, there's a lot of research and that's the newness. But the philosophy comes all the way back from the Vedas and then into Buddhism, where, the present moment, the way we see it today, mindfulness is more from Buddhism. But it started from Vedas, and Vedas has what's called Ashtanga Yoga, where we talk about, step by step of being first in form of the principles that we live on. Now, what happens is, what has happened rather is, we are, of course, as humans, we are not always going to be in this present moment, because we were supposed to be in that present moment, because earlier when we were what we'll call the primitive type, and the hunter gatherers, we were living in the present moment. We were hunting for the present moment. You go out there, you kill right now, you eat right now. You were doing everything right now. But as we started to grow and develop, and a society starts coming in, this whole thought of past, future, relationships coming in, people coming together, this has brought us this thought of, like, you have a king, the king will worry who's going to be after me. My son is not yet good enough, So all of that, the moment the society starts coming in together, so now we start thinking about the future, we worry about the future, and then we start thinking about, oh, but this went wrong in the past, so how do I correct it? And of course, then slowly we started to move a lot away from the present moment. Now, this as philosophy, as I said, it comes all the way from your Vedas. If you go back to Vedas, Ashtanga Yoga is this 8. Ashta means 8, Anga means limbs, and Yoga means union. Now, the union is of what? Union of yourself with your higher self, and what that could be anything that you want to call it, right? Now, when you're trying to create this connect, if you're constantly worrying about the past, if you're constantly worrying about the future, sad about the past, then that connection is not happening. So Vedas give you this step-by-step way of doing it, in everyday life. It starts with your yam niyams. Yam niyams are what? The way you call it the code of conduct. How you conduct yourself, what are the principles you guide yourselves, and then the principles that you connect with others based on. So that's your yam niyam, your principles with which you live. It's simple things like, we've heard all of these again, satya, always being truthful, or ahimsa, not having any kind of violence. Violence how? In thoughts, in action, in words, all the way, right? So all of this, nothing new that we don't know today, which is something new that we don't practice anymore. So that comes in. If you have these principles, if you have these principles guiding you, it is very difficult for you to actually sit and worry about, the past or the future. Now think about this. I'm completely truthful about whatever I'm doing right now. I believe in it. I go ahead with my actions. There's nothing to worry about. But when I'm hiding or when I'm fearing and then I'm doing something against my principles, that's when the fears start coming in. So if I were to continue believing and practicing those principles that that are there in the Vedanta, then of course you continue living on that. Now this is principles. Principles is something that guides you. They work as your compass in your everyday life. But then how do you practice it in everyday? Yoga that we see today is basically asanas, just asanas. Now, if I were to connect with these asanas, with my breath, with my thoughts, and each and every muscle, think of this being in an asana. Okay, I'm right there in an asana. Let's say I'm in Virabhadrasana, and right now I'm thinking from my fingertips to my toe tips, all aligned, body alignment, and I'm thinking about that and my breath. I'm so present in the moment. Right?
Absolutely.
But think about on the other side, I'm there standing there. My instructor said, okay, haath upar, and then I'm thinking, ghar jaake ye banana hai, bachon ko lene jana hai. Now I'm practicing physically, mentally, again, I'm not mindful. But then this was given to us in Vedas. There is pranayam. Today we look at pranayam as a healing concept or strengthening concept or for your immunity. It's actually a practice of mindfulness. Every day when I talk about mindfulness, the first thing that I teach, go check your breath, right? And by that I mean, what is the pace of your breath? What is the rhythm of breath? And when you do that, you're in the present moment. That's exactly what pranayam is telling you. That, focus on the breath, slow down your breath, take a deeper breath. There you go. So the Vedas were telling you 2000 plus years ago, and it still stays. It still stays.
Yeah, that's what Kartika. Hi, Kartika. She's also written. We always had society. It's because we're not aligned with natural laws. We're disbalanced. So we are all where Earth is resonating to feel duality. It's the cycle of life from unity to duality.
Absolutely. We do not want to connect anymore because the deeper we go within ourselves, see, one thing what happens is when you develop as a society, it requires you to expand your circle, which means I interact with you, you interact, we all interact, it becomes a bigger circle. And when that happens, I don't have time for myself. So I go back when we talk about mindfulness, when we talk about focusing on what's within us, you will see people, the introverted kind of people. They're so focused within. If you're so focused within, you call ourselves introverted. But what we are doing here is we're just trying to connect with ourselves. And when we do that, we kind of, reduce our circle, right? Because I don't have 20 more people to think about. But then when society developed, this is what we were doing. Again, mindlessly. We did not think what will happen. We did not know the repercussions of us expanding like this. But this expansion has come with this price that we are paying today in terms of our mental health, And then, of course, moving from Vedas, there was the same practice is preached in Buddhism. And what we see today, the practice, the way, it's being taught in the West has everything to do from Buddhism, where Buddha, he made it easier for,
understand.
For us to practice it, to everyday practice kaise karna. Okay, you're telling me be mindful, but how do I do this? And what do I focus on to do this? Well, focus on your breath, focus on your bodily sensation. What is your body feeling like? Because whatever comes to your mind, it could be any thought, it could be any thought which is like worrisome or making you angry or making you happy. It will create a response within your body. There'll be a physiological response to your psychological thought process, right? Now, when you focus on that physiological process that's happening at that moment, you're in the present moment. So you tap within yourself, learn more about yourself, be with yourself, even if you don't like it, but at least start practicing with being with yourself. That's
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so that's where it comes from, Buddhism. It's about, being, so in Buddhism, we won't call it straight away just mindfulness, but what it is mindfulness of your feeling, mindfulness of again, starting with body. starting with body. That's how the practices start. First, let's become mindful of what the body is telling you. Then become mindful of how your thoughts are becoming your, feelings. Then you go towards mindfulness of mind, how your feelings are dictating, your thoughts, the way you are reacting towards. And then comes your mindfulness of principles, where you understand what are the principles by which we live, so that all of this becomes easier for us to live. So that's how it came from Buddhism. But of course, in today the Western scientific ways has a lot to do with with meditation and how your neurons are fired and all of that. So, but yeah, philosophy from Vedas and Buddhism.
Super. So, Khushi, what is a lot of people ask, "Yeah, mindful of kya hoga?" What is the goal? Why do I need to be mindful? What are we going to achieve out of mindfulness? Or maybe what are the benefits?
Absolutely. You know what? The truth is, there. If you want to go to the extreme, right? Go to the extreme where you have no idea about anything happening out. Then be completely ignorant and just let everything happen the way it's happening and just go by it. But are we doing that? At some point we want to do that, is like just enjoy as it comes. But at some point you're always thinking, oh, I want this. I have desires. I have wishes, and I so wish that that this comes true. I get this. I achieve this. I meet this person. I have so many wishes. Now, if I'm going to have them, they're going to create a future for me, and I'm already thinking in that stuff. Now, if I'm going to think about all of that, what I want to achieve, all my desires, and also if I'm constantly going to hold on to whatever happened in the past. Now, when I say whatever happened in the past, our first thought is maybe what happened wrong in my past. No. I'm not also talking about that. I'm saying something happened in the past that's not happening today, and you say, "Kash vaisa hota." How many times we talk about all that nostalgia and how you become sad when college days are over. अरे स्कूल डेज में कितना मजा आता था, अरे छुट्टी क्यों खत्म हो गई. This little thought, I'll tell you, this is taking you to the past. Where are you right now? If you think, why did this holiday come to an end, you're being in the past. Can you do that? Are you able to do that? And when that saddens you, that thought of why did it come to an end, when it saddens you, even in the good experiences, I'm not even talking about the bad experiences. We always think that don't be in the past means don't hold on to the wrong that happened. No, I'm also talking about the positives, because we're so holding on to them also. And when I don't find it today, I'm like, why? And then I'm so saddened. And that's why the benefit of being in present moment is that whatever happened in the past or whatever is going to happen in the future, I stay neutral. I stay in a blissful state where I'm neither worried nor saddened or not excited too much also, even that, yes. Because that is also going to lead, that is what Buddha is telling you. But yes, we all want to be happy. So right now, if we are going to just not be another Buddha here, let's just be human beings. Just be normal, happy human beings. Then yes, practicing mindfulness sees to us that, sees to it that the past, the glorious past or the saddening past, whatever is, that does not impact us today. Or that worry of that future that, makes us sleepless at night, that does not take away our sleep. And that's why that's the core of mindfulness.
Yes, like Namrata says, mindfulness is the only way to lasting happiness and joy. Absolutely.
Absolutely. There is this whole, this whole training that we've given ourselves, that when I'll have this, I'll be happier. When I'll achieve this, I'll be happier.
Living in the future, no?
Absolutely, and we teach this as if you go to any coach, business coach, this all kind of coaches will teach you set goals, achieve goals. Yes, in everyday life it's important, but those goals should not run your sentiments, your emotions. That's what we've end up doing, is that we've hooked our happiness to a result. And even so what will happen is when I achieve that, even if I achieve that result, I have so hooked myself on looking ahead that when I achieve it, I'm not happy for it. Because, well, I was trained about thinking, what next, or something else. So here is never better. Like that, when we train ourselves, we always think this here is not good. Whatever it is. So I may be in a better place than someone else, but I don't want to be here. I want to be there. And when I reach there, I'm like, okay, this is not where I wanted to be. There is something more ahead,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
constant training.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And so, Khushi, are there any pillars to mindfulness practices, or
But
is there like a step-by-step process that one can?
absolutely, absolutely. First and foremost, and if we have achieved that, then we've done a lot. A big chunk of our journey is achieved, is awareness. That's one thing that is so big time missing. Even if someone is telling, what, I always keep thinking negative. This person thinks that I am so aware of the fact that I think negative. That is a very general aspect of your being. You're not thinking negative 24/7. What are you doing? Again, if I were to ask someone who says, what, and I get one-on-one clients and I talk to them and they'll be like, what, I have so much of negativity. So if I ask them, tell me exactly what, and just like the essay, just if you can't write down your thoughts, if you can't word out your thoughts, you're not even aware what you're thinking. You have a rough idea, but you're not aware. So that's the first step. The first step is awareness. And this is like, what doctor आपसे बोल रहा है कि आपको, कहीं तो दुख रहा है. And then the doctor will say, ये दवाई ले लो, शायद ये दुखना बंद हो जाए, ये ले लो. That does not happen, right? It does not
Yeah.
work like that.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's not like shayad ye, shayad wo. The awareness, that's the first step, becoming aware. That's at the first step. Once we've done that, what happens is a lot of people do get aware and then they don't like what they become aware of. They go like, "Arey yaar, this is
Right? It's difficult to learn what that can bring up, right? And to acknowledge and accept that. So difficult.
absolutely." That's the step two there. Then
Yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah. I'm sure. Because
That's
I
another
think most
difficult.
of us, like you said, a lot of people we hear do say, I struggle with negative thoughts. But I think this is a great point here to note that um, negative thoughts about what? Maybe writing down, maybe,
Absolutely.
sharing with somebody, or basically allowing yourself to maybe think about it a little more. What is it specifically that is bothering you? May bring in more awareness, and therefore then move to the next step of acceptance, I guess.
Absolutely. And then comes in the acceptance level. Now, again, what happens is a lot after that whole awareness, and yes, it comes in your awareness. Something like, I'll give you another example. You have someone you keep on getting into, let's say, a verbal conflict, a verbal fight with all the time, right? And you'll be like, this person is bad, or this person is, "Mere ko ye pasand hi nahi hai. I don't want to talk to this person because every time I talk." But now if you start becoming aware of what are you thinking, so many times it comes to our awareness is that we think we are better than the other person. Now, if I come to this, that I'm judging this another person, now that is not such a good thing to think about self. We can call everyone judgmental, but not ourselves. Now this comes into your awareness. Now I have to accept that I am the judgmental one here. So that becomes another challenge. So again, so what we try to do is we try to either avoid whatever comes in our awareness, or ignore, or just deny it. कि नहीं नहीं ऐसा है ही नहीं. ऐसा नहीं. I don't think like this, or I don't behave like this. This is not it. Or we'll just ignore it. हाँ होगा ठीक है. Like people who think who got a lot of this negative thinking going on. So they've heard the whole world say, think positive, think positive. So, the moment a negative thought will come, instead of accepting that it's there, it's like, nahi, nahi, mere ko nahi sochna. I'm not supposed to think like this. The world says, think positive. I will not think. That's not going to help. That's just like a spring. You're going to press it and, one day it's just going to spring out with lots of negative thoughts and complete negativity.
Yeah.
So that second step is going to be acceptance, accepting whatever it is. How much ever at that moment it feels it's such a wrong thing. It's such a bad thing. It's such not a good thing. It says bad about me. Even then, first thing is accepting as your own. All right, whatever this emotion was. There's so many, I get these people with, anger management ke liye. Mindfulness is amazing way, amazing tool for anger management. So if anybody right now listening is going through that, then surely should sit there and, practice, think about this. What happens is they kind of start feeling bad about themselves, that, what, I'm always angry. This is so bad, because we've typecasted or labeled anger as bad. Anger is another self-defense mechanism, and it's not altogether wrong. It's going out of hand what is wrong. But this is how we've thought. Now, when it comes to my awareness that I'm always angry, I don't like myself. So that acceptance doesn't come. I don't like it. So that acceptance becomes like, what? No, I'm not a good person. So I'm judging myself. So a third step comes in the attitude. My attitude has to be non-judgmental here, whatever it is. Because if my attitude is not non-judgmental, I will not accept it. I'll say, no, this is not a good thing. I won't accept it. Ye to jo bhi awareness mein hai is a bad thing. So no. So that attitude is the another aspect, is that attitude at the most has to be, you have to keep that. And this is another training. Constantly reminding yourself that, what, all right now it does not feel good. But when I keep on saying, I'm going to be non-judgmental, it helps me to first understand myself. When I understand myself, accept myself, I'm able to understand others and accept others. That's the whole process here. It's not just about myself. It's also about how I then go out and, create my relationships, how I respond in my relationships. So that's how you take your steps. Your first step is awareness. Whatever comes in your awareness, you accept it. You accept it with an attitude of non-judgment to start with. Then you, of course, there's a lot to practice. You can practice as much of kindness as you can. That's what I talk about. Kindness, because that's something that's missing out big time from our whatever world we are living in today. We are not kind towards ourselves, and that's why we are not even kind towards others. I'll tell you this, a lot of us think that we are kind people because we don't say a harsh thing to someone. Maybe I am, I go out and help randomly someone. But generally, how do you talk to yourself? First go there. What do you say to yourself when you do a mistake? You tell yourself, you're such an idiot. How could you be such a fool? Where is the kindness then? Yeah. So it's easier to be kind to others, but it's difficult to be kind to ourselves. So if there is any kind of, the other attitude that I'm talking about is kindness. Just be kind here. There's a lot to be harsh around. The world is harsh around. We can be kind to ourselves. So awareness, acceptance, and attitude. That's how I will say mindfulness works.
Super, super. Kartika saying love brings us to present moment. Yes. Namrata has written, how can one practice mindfulness all the time? So, how does that happen? Constantly, it can be such a task, because how do you keep bringing yourself back to now, back to now, back to now? So,
see, I'll tell you what, everything that we do, we're doing out of habit. Everything. Even right now, if I talk and I shake my head, you shake your head, it's out of habit, right? But these habits are, so they're automatic, because you constantly keep practicing, they become your habit, and then you follow. Yeah. Similarly goes for your mindfulness practices. You practice it. Give that complete attention while you are practicing it. When you do it with that practice, you constantly, as I said, it's a practice. So you need to constantly do that. But again, yes, there are things that you can, tools and tasks that you can do to train yourself. It's a kind of a mental training, right? The point is, the habits that we have created for ourselves are so unintentional, so, mindlessly made, that's how we are living our everyday life. Now it's about reversing that. Now, if you want to, be in the present moment, the point is, yes, you will think about future thinking. How will we, survive without creating a plan? You need to have a plan, and which is right. The point is not getting lost constantly. It is that daydreaming. It is that mind wandering. It is that, anxiety creating negative loop that we get into. It's this breaking this loop. If you aren't going to sit there and, laugh about the past, that amazing past, then what's the point of that past, right? That's not the question is not to forget it. But that is never even going to happen. We never forget whatever happens. It's always going to be there. The point is it stopping you? Is it blocking your growth? Is it not letting you live right now to your 100%. If it is not letting you live to your 100%, then the practice is to bring yourself back instead of worrying about or being sad about the past or worrying future. Bring yourself to the present moment. So it's not about constantly being in there. That's not even possible. We're not Buddha. Again, I'll keep saying that. That's why he attained nirvana. We are following the same thing, but nowhere close, right? But the point is not letting your past or the future worries stop you from living an amazing present. And for that, you bring yourself, and again, it's a training. Habitually, we think, habitually, we behave. It's become my behavior. The moment I see something not go my way, I start worrying, I start crying, I start becoming anxious. That's a mental behavior. That's a training. I reverse that and I bring myself in the present moment. When I teach myself mindfulness, what happens is the next time when something does not go my way, how do I react to it? What's my response? That response is what I'm looking for. And that is the training I'm going to give myself, reminding myself constantly. The moment I find myself lost for an hour in all the past or something like that. A lot of people do this mind wandering, just sit there, and like the statistics has it, for more than 50% of our time we are not present in the work that we are doing. Even while people are working, physically doing something, they're mentally not there. There's research that says this. Now, 50% more than of your almost 49.6% or something time, you're not in the present moment. Now, this is so much of time spent thinking about something that cannot be changed. Now, that is the thing that, when you bring yourself back, and yes, it's a constant. That is the constant. Mindfulness is not the constant. The constant is bringing yourself back into this present moment. The mind will just, it's like it's a loose bird. It will fly away. So you bring it back. Come here, beta. Idhar raho. So that's the whole thing, so that it does not.
When you mentioned about the past, it's really funny, and I was thinking that so many times we actually start thinking about even the good things. You go back to the past, but you're basically missing it, right?
Absolutely.
And right now you're feeling miserable that you don't have it. So that's the whole purpose of that beautiful past is like lost, because now you're not feeling good about it because it's not here right now.
Absolutely. That's the whole training.
Yeah. I think that's that's like even dishonoring for some reason the past, that the glorious past you had for whatever reason, okay, which you're missing now. So I don't think we need to do that. So for our viewers, do you have like quick 3 tips that people can use to feel more mindful, or any tricks that you can suggest for this practice?
Sure. One thing that everyone must have heard like 10 million times or more, but I'm still going to say, focus on your breath. Now, there is nothing more present than the breath itself. Like, think about it right now. With the breath that you're taking, it is so present that even if you were to want to do this, is that, I'll fill up a jar of my breath and I will use it 2 years down the line. Is that even possible? Or maybe, bring one from the past. Like, I'll go back to the past and bring that magnificent breath from the past. You can't do that. So nothing brings you more in the present moment other than your focus on your breath. That's what your yoga practice is about. That's what your breathing practices is about. It is not about strengthening the lungs or strengthening your the muscles and diaphragm. And it's not that. That's happening. That's a process that's happening. But what's also happening along with that is that, and something that I always say is, when you're in your present moment, only then you're alive. You're neither alive in the past, you're not alive in the future. It's right here. And what keeps you alive is your breath. And this breath is what is going to see to it that you're alive, you grow, and you become better. So if you want to become better, if you want to keep on growing, you stay with yourself using your own breath. And that's why you keep on, just close your eyes and take your attention towards your breath. The moment you feel that anxiety is hitting me big time, my stomach is hurting because I'm super anxious, or maybe I feel this choking sensation in my throat, I can't even breathe. Yeah, that's a physiological cycle that happens with anxiety, because it's going to ask you to breathe in more. But the moment you start slowing down your breath and take relaxed breath, your brain is going to be there's a disconnect. When there's a short breath happening, there's a mental disconnect. Your the present working brain, your conscious brain, it's kind of overtaken. It's not functioning, right? But the moment you start paying attention towards your own breath, your conscious brain comes back into action, and you come into this present moment. Your conscious brain does not hold the past. It does not think about the future. It only sees what's right in front of it. So nothing more than, even if there are running thoughts that are saying, you know what, this is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. Even in that situation, the moment you start taking in a deeper, slower breath, slow down. Just slow down your breath. Just focus on slowing down. Kuch nahi karna hai mujhe abhi. All I want to do is slower down my breath. That's it. The pace of my breath, I try to take in 5 breaths, 10 breaths, 15 breaths. What's the hurry? Just be there with yourself. So that's the first thing. Even if it may sound like repetitive, like I don't know what, I'll still say that. Nothing works like your own breath. I'll give you a very quick form of, meditation is of course a big way of bringing your mind into the present moment, and also training, a great mental training. But a lot of people have quite a lot of misconceptions when it comes to meditation. Meditation ka matlab hai, you should be in a closed room, and there shouldn't be any noise, and everything should be quiet, and I should focus on one thought, or there should be no thoughts also. Nothing like that. That again goes the Buddha level. We are not there yet. We are no Zen monks. So let's not think that. But what we can do is not get carried away with those thoughts. Now, to stop ourselves from getting carried away from that thoughts, you can take your attention to whatever you decide to take your attention. Like there is a lot of noise happening in the area where you're sitting. Cool? Lots of noise happening right now also, right for you. In the background, there must be more noise. There is some other sounds happening. There might be cars and there are people talking. But what we think, they are a distraction. And I don't want to hear to them. I want to hear this. They're distraction. They can be your anchor. Don't look at them as distraction. Then you take your conscious attention towards them and listen to every sound one time at a time, once at a time. Like, okay, right now I'm only going to listen to this car that is, this engine that's going on. Or maybe these birds that are chirping. When I consciously decide that this is what I'm going to listen, that distraction becomes my anchor. And that's my form of meditation. Simply done. So the second tip is, if a lot of noise happening around you, focus on it. Instead of trying to shut it down, focus on it, but just one sound at a time, and take your attention to every sound that's coming around, that's rising around you. Do that. It's an amazing way of becoming aware and not struggling with what's happening around you. When you train your brain for that, you similarly train yourself for such situations, situations that you don't like, situations that you don't want to be in. You keep saying, I don't want to be here. Well, you've just trained your mind, just like the noise thing. You've trained yourself. It's a training. Training will work everywhere the same way. You train yourself to be in situations that you don't like. That's what you're doing. Tip 3, I'll say pick a yoga asana. You know what? I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to have a session a little later. What I do is I ask people to stand on one leg. एक पैर पे खड़े हैं, trying to balance ourselves. ऐसे में ख्याल आता है क्या कि past में क्या हुआ था, future में क्या होगा? उस वक्त all you are doing is trying to just balance. So again, bringing yourself to this very action that you're doing, you're not able to think anything. So ऐसे में just pick one asana. You don't even have to know the entire, yoga asana practice. No, but pick one asana for yourself that helps you, works as your anchor. Just stand or sit in that asana, and especially these balancing asanas. They are amazing mental training. So just be there. The longer you can stay on or in that asana, you're again training yourself. When you go out there in that world where there are going to be situations that you don't like or are difficult, you've already trained yourself to be focused on the task that you have at hand and stay there longer. Otherwise, what happens? We want to run away from such situations. Difficult hai situation, mere ko deal nahi karna. And when you put yourself in this kind of training, you take the same training to the whatever is happening outside in the world. So yeah, these are some very simple things that you can do on your own every day.
Wow. Super. So one is, of course, using your breath. The other is meditation. Of course, bringing your focus to something that you may think as a distraction, but use it as your focus. Anything else that you'd like to add? Like to maybe just sum up the whole thing, or maybe another tip.
Sure. You know what? Meditation and mindfulness go hand in hand. So if you can take out 5 minutes, even in a day, 5 minutes for that, just being with yourself. Just give yourself that what I will call the stillness meditation, is where we just sit and I don't want to do anything. Yeah, I may have 20 things lined up, but in this very moment, all I want to do is be. The whole problem that we are facing right now is that we've got ourselves a list of to-do list, a list of doing. And that's what we've become. So we're not human doing, we're human being. So give yourself 5 minutes in a day to be whoever you are. And when you think whoever you are, it stops being, that angry person I am. You can't be angry when you're just not doing anything. Can you be angry just sitting there, not doing anything? You can't be angry. Or you're this very sad person, or you're a very happy, extroverted person. Nothing. You're just there, harmonious, in harmony with whatever is within yourself. That's it. So every day, 5 minutes of that is actual me time. That is actual self-care. When you give yourself this time to not worry, not think, not be, not do, but just be. Kuch nahi kar. Give yourself that, and you'll realize that how you become more mindful of everything that's happening around you, in your actions, in your words, even in your thoughts. It's in our thoughts that we are rather less mindful. We are constantly training ourselves about thinking about everything else other than just being here. So when we train ourselves to just be there, just tell yourself, and intention matters. So give yourself this intention that right now, this is about just being. Whoever I am, I'm just going to be here right now. This kind of calmness, peace, you take to the outside world. Slowly you'll realize how, your reaction towards and response towards others is changing, because this is what you're taking everywhere. This stillness in you, this calmness in you, this not trying too much of everything. You take that to everyone else. I'll give you one quick, very handy tip, something that I keep with myself also. You see these stickers?
Yeah.
These are small stickers. I use these gold stickers. You can use any kind of stickers. And just stick them up to, on cupboards and handles and doors and whatever. And when you see them, just ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Am I in the past, or am I in the future, or am I in the present moment? If you notice yourself in the past or future, just take a deep breath, focus on your breath, come back to the present moment.
My house is going to be full of these.
Right. That's why I keep going. That's why I keep that pretty much.
Amazing. That's a great trick. Yeah. So basically, maybe you can, either stars, or maybe you can choose certain, artifacts around your house, and you can always put an intention. Okay, whenever I'm going to see this, look at this, I'm going to tell myself and ask myself if I'm in the moment.
Absolutely. That's how you constantly bring yourself in the present moment. There, you're constantly mindful. You don't even need to sit there and practice something. You just see something and you go, oh, that's my cue. Then you know what? Are you mindful or not? Are you in present moment or not? And then you bring it back.
Absolutely. So I think meditation, like you said, meditation is also about just noticing your breath, right? So that, I think, is a great practice for mindfulness. And even if you're just spending that 5 minutes with yourself, focusing on your breath, either in a form of meditation or even just being aware of your own body, your own breath, and what is around you, just bringing the awareness back to yourself. That's Any
That's the thing, instead of letting our senses run crazy and, just not be aware of what I'm seeing, why not I take my attention there and actually see what I want to see or listen what I want to listen instead of calling everything else a distraction or things that I don't want to experience. How about I will listen to this, that also will have impact on all the people if you're struggling with all that mindless scrolling on Instagrams and whatever, all the social media. We keep on just getting carried away with that scrolling and all of that. If you want to just telling yourself that I'm going to, in this moment, this is what I'm going to do, and then I move out of that, it always helps.
I think very important, like you mentioned, the attention span is like gone down drastically, right? For all of us. If it doesn't catch our attention in the initial few seconds, it's lost our attention.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to stick around.
Absolutely. And we've seen this in our reels. Our reels have become shorter and shorter. This itself shows how we,
from 30 seconds to now, they say, you need to have your point given out in 5 seconds, 7 seconds. So that's like, imagine the attention span that's going down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I think it's very difficult for people to sit and read a book these days.
Absolutely. And even
one conversation. I've had these issues when I was struggling with anxiety, and sometimes even now, that when I'm having a conversation with somebody, I have zoned out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I have zoned out, I have missed out on something, and I have to come back and say, dude, I have just missed out on what you said. Can you repeat yourself?
Absolutely. That's kind of, we are training ourselves and we are not even aware. That's what I said earlier, but it's a habitual thing. We've made it a habit. Habit kaise? Habits come up when we kind of, repeat it. So if I'm going to do something that's not helping me so repeatedly, why can't I equally do something that will help me? So that is one thing that I really feel a lot of people will say like, "Arey yaar, ye to bahut mushkil tha." So we already did something that is not helping. So why not do the effort
to do something that might just help us?
Absolutely. Yes, it is difficult, but let's do this because this is going to help. But then not complain ki, I couldn't finish my work or, the deadline and this and the stress. And why? Because we trained ourselves for that. And there is something else you can do. But yeah, again, we need the easy way out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is amazing, Khushi. We've had such a lovely session. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with all of us. If you guys have any questions for Khushi, please, you can type them in here.
This is a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, Khushi.
Good. And I have to say, as I just said, one asana or one thing. Don't focus on too many things. Just focus on picking any one thing. Like I may give you 100 tips. Pick your one favorite. Just pick one.
Yeah. Yes.
Something very compatible with you. Yeah, this is something I can do. Just pick that one. You don't need to do all that is coming your way. I can tell you 20 things, but you don't need to do all of that. You need to pick one that is going to lead you, that is going to guide you into being present, into becoming what you want to be. And stop struggling with it.
Correct. So practice is also about what works for you. You know
that.
So and making your own practice of those things that work for you and that you're able to resonate with.
Absolutely.
It has written a number of sessions based on gratitude, law of attraction, meditation classes. The one and only session which convinced me scientifically is Miss Khushi Ma'am's session. Thank you for sharing that, Kavita.
Thank you. But this
for calling, for writing in excellent session. That's my mom.
Thank you. Always the fan, right? I'm surprised mine is not here.
Yeah. So right at the start of the session, I was just mentioning, like my mom mostly never misses any of my life. She's always there on time.
Amazing, right?
Is this question and answer session? Yeah, please, if you have any questions, you may ask.
Yes, absolutely. And this is how what I was talking about is also, this is what I do. I run these courses, I conduct these mindfulness courses, and every day I send a task to be performed. And the point is not that you learn or you do 60 tasks by the end of the course. The point is, I'm giving you 60 for life. Even if you can hold on to one, all of those tasks are going to give you the similar kind of result. But the point is, someone may like to, focus on breath, while someone may want to focus on what they see, while someone want to do things in motion. So you give them a list of tasks, you just pick one that really goes and resonates with you, and hold on to that. But then hold on to that and practice that. That's going to become your cornerstone, and then your practice becomes deeper like that.
Super, super. So, like Khushi mentioned, I think the step one is to bring awareness, bring acceptance, practice, your breath, and to bring your awareness to the present moment. Use meditation as a tool, to bringing your. Uh, Someone's written, I wanted to ask how to deal with guilt and regret. I mean, how to deal with regret. Uh,
One thing that I will tell you right now is regrets, guilt, all of this is our wish. There's an inner wish to change something that happened, right? That's why the regret is, why did I take this decision? Or why did I say this? Or why didn't I say this? So the constant struggle is for this wish that I could go and change. Again, comes in what we spoke about right now, mindfulness stepwise, the steps being awareness, acceptance, and attitude. Here comes the acceptance of the fact that you can't even bring a breath right now. When this session started, to this very moment, I cannot go back to the very next breath that I took, last breath that I took. I can't even do that much. Leave aside something that happened a day ago, or 2 days ago, or a year ago, whatever. But we still keep on thinking, only if I could change. So this comes in the acceptance factor, that nothing, I cannot go back. Because I would really want you to actually think of a scenario where you are going back. Can you even do that? You cannot do that. So that's the first step, is the acceptance. Second thing is, regrets are because you're constantly in that, guilt and regret because you haven't forgiven yourself. So that is once you accept, your attitude is that of forgiveness. Forgiveness, because we think, forgiveness is someone, if I hurt someone else, they should forgive me and then I'll feel better. They may not. From
like
your end,
be kind to yourself first.
Absolutely. It's about you being good to yourself, you letting yourself know that, all right, you did a mistake. Cool. When you're aware that you did a mistake, that itself becomes your step to forgiveness. Now, waiting for someone else to come and forgive you, let the other person telling you that, yeah, I forgive you, that is your ego wanting to be fed. Now, that is not the real requirement. The real requirement is you forgiving yourself. They may not be on that same page. They may still have that pain. You can't accept them to not feel sad anymore or bad about whatever we did to them just because now I am sorry, right? They were going to take their own time and understanding and processing of whatever they went through. You're saying 100 times you go out there and tell this another person that you're sorry or something like that will not change it. They will have to go through their process of it. While what you can do at this moment is go through your process of it all. Understand, here is what you did, as whatever is the mistake that you did, accepting it with, of course, kindness, and said, all right, the moment you accept that you did something wrong, you already have corrected, because you're not going to do it again. It already stands corrected for you because you're not going to repeat it. So holding on to a regret is not going to help you. It's not changing anything. You just let the another person go through their process, if there is another person involved. While for yourself, you start with forgiving yourself. That comes with this whole practicing kindness, being kinder towards self. I am entitled to, not entitled as in, but entitled to commit mistakes as human being. I do not know everything. I don't know how the world runs. I did not know what the future was going to be. In the present moment, I thought that was the right thing. But now if I feel that this wasn't the right thing, I have to forgive myself, because if I don't do this for myself, I cannot even expect another person doing this for me. If I can't forgive myself, before anybody else forgives you, you have to forgive yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if it can be turned around, then I think that's also a good way to maybe try to change that whatever's happened. But a lot many times we can't. Um, a lot many times regret and guilt comes when you cannot change it.
Not change it.
Behavior or whatever's happened. I think the only way is to not live in that. Allow yourself to forgive yourself and just be in the here
Absolutely.
and now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, the whole
And I
fact.
think and I think that's what life lessons are. No, we learn from our own mistakes, and if we've learned that lesson of that this wasn't right, I'm sure it will not never be repeated, and the learnings come from it.
Absolutely. That's where you're not holding on to the past. You learn
Yeah.
from it. Until you don't learn, of course, you're going to hold on.
Yeah.
If you haven't learned anything, then there's also going to be the fear that what ye wapas ho jayega, or I may do this again, or something similar may happen again. That fear will also stay there. And but the moment you learn the lesson from it, that incident has served its purpose of being, and now it's time to let it go. So learning out of whatever happened is going to help you. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much, Khushi. It's been a pleasure having you. I'm sure everybody watching has had an immense learning session too.
Pleasure. This is complete pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
You know, again, I have been facing a lot of struggle with this whole lid. I don't know what's going wrong, but this has still
Yeah,
been
I was just
amazing.
keeping my fingers crossed. I'm like, I hope Khushi is joining us today. There was all the technical glitch in the chat. But I'm glad you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for putting out your questions. And if you have any further questions, you can always, the live will be on the page later, and you can always put out your questions on the comment, and Khushi will be happy to answer them.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye, Khushi. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Pleasure. Bye.
Hey friends, if you found the video interesting, make sure you like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also hit the bell icon to get notified every time we upload a new video.